All right, welcome everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty fascinating, China's low-altitude economy.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be fun.
You know, everyone's talking about it, and we're going to break it all down for you. Not just drones. We're thinking bigger.
Much bigger.
We're talking flying taxis, massive airships, a whole new way to get around cities.
Transforming urban transportation.
We've got some great interviews lined up, including one with a top engineer at EHang.
That should be interesting.
Plus, we'll dig into industry reports, the growth potential, and even some of the challenges they're facing.
Yeah, there are always challenges.
So buckle up. Are you ready to imagine a world where your commute means soaring above all that traffic?
It's closer than you might think. What I find really captivating about this whole thing is that China's going all in.
Yeah.
They're turning what used to be pure science fiction into a core part of their economic strategy.
It's amazing, right? I mean, flying cars, something we've seen in movies like The Jetsons forever, it's becoming a reality.
It's incredible.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's back up a bit. What exactly are we talking about when we say low-altitude economy?
Good point. So we're talking about the airspace below 1,000 meters. That whole zone is going to be buzzing with all sorts of vehicles, both piloted and autonomous. Think drones, those futuristic air taxis, all operating in that space.
So why now? What's making this the moment for all of this to take off?
Well, it's a few things coming together. First, you've got the Chinese government actively supporting this whole sector. They're putting their weight behind it. Then you've got technology advancing at an unprecedented rate.
Making it all possible.
Exactly. And let's not forget the huge demand. Chinese cities are growing so rapidly, they need faster, more efficient ways to move people and goods around.
Makes sense. Speaking of those air taxis, EHang is a company that's really caught my attention.
Yeah, they're doing some really cool stuff.
Especially their EH216, the two-seater model. It looks like something straight out of a movie.
It does. EHang is definitely a front runner in this whole autonomous flight space.
And we had the chance to talk with Dong Wang, their VP of R&D, and he's so passionate about this project.
That passion's essential, I think.
Totally. And what really struck me was their focus on safety. They've developed some incredibly rigorous safety protocols. It's serious business, not just a flashy tech demo.
Yeah, safety has to be paramount. You can't cut corners with something like this.
Absolutely. And the EH216 itself, I mean, it's designed for fully autonomous flight. It has this sleek, futuristic look. And get this, it could be priced as low as $330,000 in China.
Wow.
Which is still a lot, but compared to a traditional helicopter, it's way more affordable.
Right. It makes you wonder if this could actually be within reach for more than just the super rich.
Yeah, could this technology actually trickle down and become more mainstream?
That's the big question.
Okay.
Imagine, though, no more traffic jams, just zipping across the city in minutes. It could completely change urban transportation as we know it.
Totally. But let's not forget, it's not just air taxis, right? Drones are a huge part of this low-altitude world, too.
Oh, absolutely. Drones are already being used in so many ways.
Deliveries, right?
Yeah, deliveries, emergency response, even reaching Mount Everest Base Camp. There was that story recently about a Chinese drone company delivering supplies there.
That's right. It's wild how far that technology's come. And China's also looking into airships.
Yeah, for tourism, though.
Can you imagine floating over those incredible Chinese mountain ranges in a luxury airship?
Yeah.
It would be breathtaking.
It's all part of this bigger picture. China has this ambitious plan. They're trying to create a low-altitude transportation network.
Wow.
They want to connect 11 major cities in the Greater Bay Area.
That's a massive undertaking.
It is. And their goal is to make travel between any of those cities possible within an hour.
So basically, no matter where you are in that region, you're just an hour away from anywhere else.
That's the idea. It's bold, ambitious, and a little bit mind-blowing.
It's incredibly ambitious. But it makes you wonder, are there any downsides to all of this? I mean, it can't all be smooth sailing.
You're right to be skeptical. There are definitely challenges ahead, cost being a big one.
Yeah, of course.
Can they make all of this affordable enough for the average person?
For mass adoption, right?
Exactly. For example, there are estimates that a 15-minute air taxi ride from Shenzhen to Hong Kong could cost over 13,600 yuan.
Whoa, that's a lot.
It's almost 2,000 US dollars. That's like 10 times the cost of a train ticket.
Yeah, that puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
And even if the cost comes down, there's still the whole issue of regulations. I mean, who's going to manage all of this traffic in the sky?
Well, Shenzhen's actually taking the lead on that. They've become the first city in China with a law specifically for low-altitude airspace.
That's interesting.
It's a big step, but it's causing some concern among residents. Some are worried about privacy and noise pollution.
Yeah, I can see that. It seems like there's a lot of uncertainty about how this will all play out in the real world.
There is. It's a very complex situation. It's early days, but the potential is definitely there. It's a really fascinating case study in how innovation, government policy, and society all intersect.
So the big question, is China's gamble going to pay off?
Who knows?
Will they succeed in creating this low-altitude revolution and reshape urban life? Or are they aiming too high?
It's a gamble, that's for sure. But, China's not alone in this. Other countries are starting to explore this low-altitude economy thing, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, both startups and big companies are investing a lot in the technology.
So it's not just a Chinese thing then?
Nope, this could be a global trend.
Huh, that's interesting. So then who's going to lead the way? Will it be China, since they're starting early? Or will other countries catch up?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it makes you think about the environmental side of things, too.
Right. Like, are we just going to have a ton of noisy aircraft in the sky?
That's a valid concern. But the industry is aware of it.
Okay, so what are they doing about it?
Well, there's a big push for electric propulsion to cut down on both noise and emissions.
Oh, like those EHang air taxis? Those are fully electric, right?
Exactly. And they're supposed to be much quieter than helicopters, which is important if you're going to have them flying around cities all the time.
Right. Makes sense. So it seems like they're taking the environmental stuff seriously. But what about safety? I mean, more aircraft in the sky, especially autonomous ones, that seems kind of risky.
It's a natural concern. But safety is the top priority for these companies. They're really putting in the work.
Oh, okay, good. So what exactly are they doing?
They're investing in redundant systems, rigorous testing, all kinds of advanced sensor technology.
To make it as safe as possible.
Yeah, it's not just about throwing stuff up there and hoping for the best.
Right. So it sounds like there's a lot of thought going into all this. But it seems like a lot of things need to happen for this whole low-altitude economy to really work. Like the technology has to keep getting better, there need to be clear regulations, and people need to be on board with the whole idea.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's a whole ecosystem that needs to develop. It's what makes it so interesting. We're seeing innovation, policy, and societal needs all coming together. It's hard to say what'll happen, but it has the potential to change things in a big way. Think about how this could affect rural communities, for example.
Oh, yeah, we haven't really talked about that.
Yeah, imagine remote villages could become easily accessible. Drones delivering goods and services.
Wow.
Or disaster relief. Drones could get around damaged roads and bring aid to people who need it.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's like using this tech to connect people in ways that we just couldn't before.
And it's not just practical stuff. It could create entirely new industries or reshape existing ones. Logistics, agriculture, healthcare, all sorts of things.
It seems like we're about to see a huge change in how we think about transportation.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy how fast it's all happening. It wasn't that long ago that flying cars were just something in sci-fi movies, and now they're practically here.
It really is remarkable how quickly things change. That's why it's so important to stay informed about what's happening. The decisions we make now will have a big impact on the future of transportation.
You're right. We have to think about what this technology means and how we want to use it, because in the end, it's just a tool. It's up to us to decide how we use it.
Absolutely. It's about using this technology to create a better future for everybody, not just a few.
So let's talk about the future. If this technology really took off, how would you use it? Would you take an air taxi to work? Maybe go on a scenic airship tour? It's kind of fun to think about.
It is. I think that's one of the most exciting things about all of this. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about what it lets us do, how we live, how we work, how we see the world.
It's not just about getting from point A to point B quickly. It's about connecting with people and communities in totally new ways. And about pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah, well said. This whole deep dive into China's low-altitude ambitions has been really insightful. We've talked about the technology, the economic potential, the challenges.
What really stands out to me is how bold it all is. China's not just testing the waters. They're diving headfirst into this new world.
It's a big gamble, and it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It feels like we're watching a whole new chapter of human flight being written right in front of us.
It really does.
Maybe years from now, we'll look back and say, that's when it all started.
That's when we started leaving the ground behind for good. Imagine a world where distance doesn't matter as much, where it's not such a barrier.
I like that. And it's more than just speed. It's about the connections we could make between people and places that never would have been possible before.
Exactly. Remote communities become easily accessible. Disaster relief gets way more efficient. Maybe even whole new industries pop up around this whole low altitude thing. We're just at the beginning of figuring out what we can do with this.
It makes you realize that progress doesn't always happen in a nice, neat line. Sometimes you need someone to take a big leap, a bold vision, to take a chance on something brand new.
That's what China's doing, right? They're not following the old rules, they're making new ones. It's exciting. Whether it works or not, well, that's still up in the air. But they're giving us a glimpse of something pretty amazing.
What strikes me is that this isn't just about some cool new technology. It's about us, about how we as humans always want to break free, to explore new things, push the limits of what we think is possible.
Yeah, it's a story that goes way back, from hot air balloons to the Wright brothers. And now, with what China's doing, it feels like that story's about to get a whole lot more interesting.
Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your take on this.
Yeah.
If you could shape this low-altitude future, what would be most important to you? What values would you make sure were part of it? What kind of world would you want to build with this technology? It's something to think about, isn't it, as we keep exploring what's up there?
It is, and we can't forget, at the end of the day, technology is a tool. It's up to all of us to decide how we use it, what rules we put around it, and what kind of future we create with it. The possibilities are huge, and the choices we make now are going to be felt for a long time.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us for this incredible journey into China's low-altitude economy. We hope it's given you some new ideas about the future of transportation and just how much potential it has.
Definitely. And until next time, keep looking up, keep asking questions, and never stop imagining what's possible.
Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. For more detail, you can visit our blog website www.evergreentechtips.com.